This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. I can't emphasize enough how these actors in Congress and these global elites, whatever you want to call them, these Satanists who are pulling the strings, how they look at us as pawns. This is a giant chess game and we are the pawns in the game, and they are maneuvering us around by creating massive psychological traps. And I've been talking about the left-right divide for quite some time. And this is a perfect example. If you're out there and you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about, if it's hard for you to believe, just start using common sense when you look at what I'm about to play for you when it comes to California Governor Gavin Newsom, who, again, if anybody out there thinks that any people, no matter what their political affiliation is, would actually elect a guy like this, and then re-elect him, who is allowing the state to become a cesspool on purpose, who is obviously anybody out there with any type of discernment at all, whether it's spiritual discernment, or if you're just looking at somebody from the standpoint of, is this guy a scumbag or not? When you look at Gavin Newsom, every single person's radar should go off and say, wow, this guy is a bad person with bad intentions. This guy is full of it. And this ad I'm about to show you is a perfect example of what I'm talking about with how they're herding humans into blue and red states, which is why they're emphasizing and bringing up all these stories like Roe v. Wade, and states are putting in legislature that is making it very difficult for people with different ideologies to live in those states, right? We all felt it with the mandates that were put in place, and now they're making it so Democrats in these states are feeling it because, of course, they're somehow convincing them that committing murder is the right to choose, and it is a woman's right to commit murder, apparently. But take that out of it and think about this. Governor Newsom is about as sleazy as it gets. And this is the ad that Governor Newsom is airing in Alabama. So ask yourself this. Why would a governor, okay, we're talking about a governor of a state, right? 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't even have known who the governor of a different state was, with the exception maybe of Arnold Schwarzenegger because he was an actor. But again, these are all actors too. You wouldn't have known if you lived in New York who the governor of Iowa was. Well, now they're making it so all these governors are known. They're putting them on pedestals. They're putting them on late night talk shows. They're investing in them by giving them more TV time so you know who they are and you know where they stand. And they're extreme on both sides, right? Extreme Democrats, extreme Republicans. And they're taking their ideologies and adopting it on a state level where they're using the state as a honeypot to lure you into the state. So why would Gavin Newsom launch ads in the state of Alabama to lure people in Alabama to move to California? Have you ever heard this before? Have we ever heard, governors in different states are recruiting people in other states to move to their states? No one has ever heard of this before because it's never happened before. They've never tried to herd people like cattle into their states based on ideologies. It used to just be, hey, who's going to win this election cycle, a Republican or a Democrat? I don't know. The state didn't have specific insane ideologies for one party versus the other. And certainly we never saw states literally try to seduce people in other states to move to their states. We've seen it with Ron DeSantis in Florida, and we've seen it with Gavin Newsom. We've seen it in some other states. But look at this ad and how they're using fear and they're using psychological operations to tell women in Alabama, if you try to leave your state, if you try to drive across state lines to get a child abandoned out of your body, I have to word it that way because of the algorithm, but if you try to have a child removed from your womb and you try to leave the state to do it, you will be federally prosecuted, that you're going to be taken to court. In fact, it's so outrageous that the cop actually asked the woman in this ad I'll show you that Gavin Newsom posted on his Twitter account. Okay, Gavin Newsom is posting this on his Twitter account. He's sharing this with people out there. He's the one behind the ad. He's funding the ad with Californians' tax money to lure people in another state to come to his state by telling them if you get pulled over trying to leave the state to abandon a child, the police officer is going to ask you even to get a pregnancy test. This is how outrageous this is, and nobody understands how these people are trying to move us around like chess pieces. Look at this ad.
We're almost there. You're gonna make it.
Trump Republicans want to criminalize young Alabama women who travel for reproductive care.
Miss, I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle, take a pregnancy test.
Stop them by taking action at righttotravel.org. Campaign for Democracy Group is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So we've never seen stuff like this before. So you have to ask yourself, why are they doing stuff like this? Is California just low on residents? So low on residents that they want to get people out of Alabama and bring them in to California? They were just sitting there and like, we care so much about people in Alabama. We want to bring them over here. They're moving people around. You are a chess piece. You are a pawn in the game. You're a pawn in their game. That's what this is. So Gavin Newsom, this should make people wake up immediately. This is one of those stories, just like the one I recently did with Civil War. I've covered this so many times, but this is a great example to use. Because you should just look at it from the standpoint of if you were the governor, if you were an employee of the government and you worked in California, say you went through all these things that aren't really true. You went through state council, you went through small government, you built your way up, and then you were working for Gavin Newsom, which wouldn't happen, of course, unless you were a Freemason or an Eastern Star Witch, because that's the only way you elevate yourself in local politics or even get in local politics for the most part, right? You would look at this and you'd be like, why are we in, California's got crime running amok. You see all this stuff going on, and it's just not just from the news. People are filming what's going on in the streets and putting it up on their Twitter accounts, their TikTok accounts, their YouTube accounts, showing all these stores closed. So you're going to take the money of people who are funding it, the taxpayers' money in California, and you're going to fund commercials in other states to lure people into moving into your state, right? This shows us that exactly what's happening is destruction of infrastructure, right? They're destroying the infrastructure in California. These Democrat states are going to all be home to smart technology, smart cities, etc. But most importantly, they want people to feed into their propaganda to move into the states they want them in. And ultimately, again, the bigger problem we're seeing is that conservatives see this stuff and they somewhat see it coming, right? They somewhat see it coming, but they don't get it. They don't get it that by breaking free and literally going into red states and saying, screw it, that's what they ultimately want. And then they become sitting ducks for these people. So this is the article that's out there from CBS. California Governor Newsom is taking aim at states considering banning travel for people who are looking to abandon their children with the launch of a new ad campaign. Newsom's Campaign for Democracy ad is set to air in Alabama starting on Monday. It just aired. The governor tweeted out the ad in his social media post on Sunday. The text with the video reads, Alabama's abandoning children plan has no exceptions for an attack on a woman or if a father tries to sleep with their daughter, etc. Now Republicans are trying to criminalize young women's travel to receive care. We cannot let them get away with this. The 30-second commercial shows two nervous young women driving in a car passing a sign that reads State Line 1 mile, right? Now, while he's not openly advertising in this ad, but he has many times over, we've seen these governors advertise in other states saying, come to our state. We're a safe haven, right? We've seen California advertise and say, look, we're a safe haven for trans. We're a safe haven for LGBT. We're a safe haven for women who believe in the right to murder. The right to choose, right? So he's openly telling you this. He's saying, look, we can't have people in Alabama allow this. And nobody out there is suspicious. Nobody's going, who's even giving him this has never been something that's been thought of before on a state level. This has never been thought of. A governor would say, well, hey, we'll leave that to the state of Alabama. I'll focus on my state of California. I'll focus on all the problems that we have in California. I'm not going to waste my time and my ad money into marketing my state in a state all the way across the country like Alabama. But people don't think like that anymore. They don't think like that. They think that this is normal because they don't understand how the world was 10 years ago. And they can't even remember how it was. This would be on someone's radar. They would go, who gives a crap? I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican in California. You would say, why is he advertising in Alabama and focusing on states except for our state? He's focusing on other states, trying to help other states, but he doesn't want to help our state out. Nobody in California right now, the Democrats there are not thrilled with what's going on. But of course, they're silenced, and they silence themselves because part of communism and part of how Democrats don't even realize they've been trained is that you can't question the party, right? This is how old communist propaganda works. It's how the whole thing works. You can't question the party. So they're not questioning the party. They're just rolling their eyes going, I don't like what's going on here, but it's better than having a conservative in power. I see the stuff in these other states. That's really scary to me. Instead of going, hey, you know what? There's problems here. Why is this guy marketing and trying to lure people to our state from Alabama? Well, because they're trying to show you and herd you like chess pieces and move you into states based on your ideologies. And again, this is a very dangerous thing, but this is a perfect example. A perfect example for anyone out there that's questioning what I'm saying about this. If you're looking at it, you're going, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if that's really what they're trying to do. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Tell me a time in human history that you even knew a governor in another state, unless it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Other than that, tell me a time period where you've seen governors in other states investing money to advertise in other states. The money would normally go to, well, if it's not going to infrastructure, the money for ad revenue would go to another term or trying to help the next Democrat in line make sure he gets elected. Well, that doesn't matter in California. Newsom doesn't have to worry about putting money into an ad for the next guy to come along who's going to be Democrat because they know it'll automatically be a Democrat because they know what states will never flip, okay? Because eventually none of the states are going to flip. There's going to be red and blue, right? And it's going to be the illusion of democracy, but it's not a democracy. It's not a republic. It's really supposed to be a republic, but it's neither of the above. You're in a tyrannical one world government right now. Just the illusion here is that there's a left and a right, but it's just two different heads of the snake. Okay? Ultimately, you're going to continue to see these states that align themselves like Texas. Texas will start marketing that they're not going to allow this or that is very important to liberals in their states. And it's going to go forward this way, domino after domino after domino. And that's why you're seeing them do this. That's why you're seeing them advertise to people and say, come to our state. I mean, look, this is basic psychology. This is basic politics. You never, ever, ever, ever have seen this before. You've never seen governors advertise in other states. It makes zero sense, except for the fact that they're moving you around like chess pieces. Share this with people. Let them understand this. Okay, you just need to look at it from that perspective and go, oh yeah, right, that doesn't make sense. That is weird. Because they're moving you around. Civil War, the movie, national divorce talk. This is what they're doing to us, okay? It's all psychological, and this little manipulative tactics like this that they're doing that people don't realize that they're doing in the first place. I thank you for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.